Alright guys, alright guys. So the topic we're going to be talking about today is welding shop safety. And this is a topic that is really good to know about if you're going to be in a welding shop. First of all, we need to go over the terminology that you need to know. So, weld is a localized condolence of metals or nonmetals produced by either heating the materials to suitable temperatures with or without the application of pressure, or the application of pressure alone, and with or without the use of filler metals. So you have to know the definition of weld, because welding is the definition of that is to weld. Another really big definition to know, which is kind of a no-brainer, but when you're being taught about welding safety, one of the main things they talk about is the definition of safety, which is a state of being safe from harm or danger. Another good definition to know is electrode holder, which is a device to hold the electrode, which is like a welding rod, and sorry, there's a little typo here, to conduct the electricity to it. Another one is personal protection equipment, which is usually shortened down to PPE, which is protective clothing, helmets, goggles, or gloves, and glasses, and other garments that will protect you. So whenever you're hearing someone talk about welding, you'll hear them talk about PPEs because it's much easier to talk about. The most common injuries in the shop are eye injuries, which consist of burns to the eyes from hot metal, burns similar to having sunburns on your eyes, which are absolutely miserable. Whenever you get the burns on your eyes, you usually cut up potatoes and put them on your eyes because somehow they tend to take away the sting. Another major eye injury that is common in the shop are cuts from having metal in the eye. So you can get cuts from something hitting your eye or metal in your eye. Another thing are skin burns, which is from slag or catching fire on your clothes from not wearing proper PPEs. And slag is the stuff that comes off your weld. So you like chip away the slag, and that's the stuff that kind of covers it. Or burns similar to sunburns. And let me tell you, you might even not know you're getting them if you don't have your shirt buttoned up all the way. But once you get them, they hurt. The proper PPEs needed for welding are fireproof or leather long sleeves, like this guy is wearing here. He's wearing a leather shirt, which buttons up. But one of my favorites to use are a cotton fireproof long sleeve shirt. You need to have fully cotton blue jeans or leather pants or fireproof pants. But most common is cotton blue jeans. Because if you have polyester, it could melt because it is a synthetic fiber. Closed-toed leather shoes, and the reason I didn't put boots is because there is a shoe called Twisted X, or leather tennis shoes that aren't really tennis shoes. They're kind of like a small boot. But those are able to be used during welding too, because the slag or fire and stuff like that, hot molting metal, will not go through your leather shoes, or it will normally bounce off. So it is the best option because tennis shoes are made out of synthetic fiber, so they will go directly through it and melt it. And with that synthetic fiber melting, it can also cause a burn with the molting metal hitting your foot or leg or whatever. It's just not a fun thing. And you see that in this picture, he has these leather gloves on. And you see he has the electrode holder right here. The reason we use leather gloves is simply from this little bit of light right here. It might look small here, but it is very bright and can easily burn your eyes or skin just from the UV rays off of it. So with the leather gloves, it protects from the little pieces of metal, and you can see them right here, the sparks coming off from hitting your hands, and from the light hitting your hands so it doesn't burn you. Safety glasses, which you can't see them in this picture because the guy obviously has his welding hood on, but the safety glasses are on under it. The reason most people wear safety glasses under their welding hood is simply because even though that hood does cover your face, there can still have little pieces of metal or sparks or slag get up under your hood and hit your glasses. Because I know this from experience, because I have had multiple pieces of slag come up and hit my face when chipping, and if it wasn't for glasses, they would have gone in my eyes. So it is very important to always, always, always have your proper PPEs. Ways to be safe in the shop. Communication is a very good key factor in the welding shop, because without communication, people could seriously get injured because there are tons of sharp objects and could potentially be flying metal in the shop. If you think about it, there are chop saws which are constantly cutting metal and slinging things, and if it hits it just right, it could sling and hit you. It could potentially kill someone. There's just a lot of dangers with it. If you start to weld and you have people helping you, make sure to let them know, because it could burn them or their eyes. It could cause slag or anything to be thrown on them, and it's super easy to burn your eyes. And while it's going, you might not think about it, but you could be burning your eyes even if your welding hood is not tinted all the way. If it's not on a high enough setting, it could burn your eyes very easy, and you don't even know it until you are about to go to sleep and wake up in the middle of the night with your eyes extremely red and hurting. Always be alert in the shop is another key factor, because if you aren't paying attention to the machine you're working with, you could lose fingers or eyes. Like I said, with the chop saw, it slings things, and with a metal chop saw, it slings sparks everywhere. And if those get in your eye, it is not fun, and you have to go get the metal taken out, and it will cut your eyes. It's just not a fun time. And with losing the idea of losing your fingers, if you are using a grinder, some people tend to use gloves, but I wouldn't recommend it, simply because me personally, I have been using a grinder, and my glove has got caught in the rock of the grinder and ripped my glove off. And if I wasn't paying attention to the machine, I could have possibly lost 2 or 3 of my fingers. So that's a major thing. Always stay alert in the shop. No horseplay, because if you are horseplaying, people could fall and hit their head on the metal tables, or if someone's welding, they could potentially get burned by the metal, or it could just hurt tons of people if you horseplay in the shop. And I put this in all capitals because you always have to have proper PPEs in the shop, the personal protection equipment, to keep yourself and others safe. And I've put this on here. One of the most dangerous places in the shop is a shop, so always follow the guidelines and have your proper PPEs on. Another reason I say this is, and emphasizing this, is that there are so many injuries that can potentially happen and do happen in a shop every day. So if you don't know the ideas and the definitions and everything behind shop safety, and especially welding shop safety, it could hurt you horribly or hurt someone else. So it is a major thing you need to know. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and you learned a lot, and you have a great day.